So perfect. We're going to start like in 2-3 minutes, just waiting for the last people to join. Hello, Sion. We're waiting for Emma as well to join, and then we can kick it off in 2-3 minutes. Hello, Emma.
Hello.
How is it going?
Good, thanks. How are you all?
Very good. The sun is coming back in Lisbon. I hope the same in Barcelona.
It's not so bad. Pretty good.
Perfect.
Can't complain. I'm just fixing my headphones.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Nice. You hear me
Cool.
okay? Lovely. All right.
Cool.
Ooh,
We're just letting the last people in as well, and then we're going to kick it off like
fantastic.
in 1 minute, and
Super.
then we can start our webinar with Uplisting and TouchStay.
Lovely.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. We woke up this morning and the skies were grey, and I thought, oh gosh, what has happened? But now the sun is shining, so it's okay.
Everybody's in a better mood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sion and
Good.
Mallorca told me the same.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. It's definitely easier to start your day when the sun is shining.
It is.
Yeah. Oh.
Perfect. Sion, you let me know if I should start and if you let the last people in, and then we can kick it off.
Super.
Yeah, we can begin. If anyone else joins, I can send them across the recording, or if they have any questions, anything that they've missed, more than happy to stay back and answer any questions as needed.
Cool. Then let's kick it off. Hi, my name is Patrick. I work as head of partnerships at TouchStay. We have today our webinar. We planned it for like 30-40 minutes. We don't want to actually bother you too long about it as well. Today, the topic will be scaling without stress, operational excellence for growing portfolios. As you might know, TouchStay is an all-in-one digital guidebook, and we recently started an integration and partnership with Uplisting that we're very happy about it. And I have like today were two experts from Uplisting, Sion, and also Emma from our side, the guest experience specialist, was who can basically walk you through to our integration, to our partnership, and also why it makes it so special. So I don't want to talk too much about myself, so I'll kick it off. And Emma, yeah, next.
Lovely. Alrighty, I will share my screen and we will crack on. Alrighty, and oh, I'll just go into present mode. Looks a bit nicer. Everyone see my screen okay? Yes, super.
Perfect.
So thank you for the introduction. So I'm going to start off by taking us through some of the challenges that property managers and hosts face and how TouchStay and Uplisting combined together can do away with a lot of those challenges. And if you're not using a digital guidebook already, this will hopefully convince you and show you why you really should have one as part of how you communicate and manage information flow with your guests. No inflammation here, just information. And if you do already have your TouchStay guidebooks on the go, this should give you some really good ideas for other things you can use and some of our features that maybe you don't know about. So for those that don't know about TouchStay, shame on, no shame, I'm kidding. So TouchStay, we're all over the world. There's more than 50,000 guidebooks now in use, and 12 million guests used TouchStay in 2024. So I'm sure it's even more now that we've run into 2026. And more than 92% of our customers have said that they've saved time since introducing TouchStay guidebooks to how they communicate with guests. So it's all about time saving and efficiency and kind of reducing some of that operational stress, which is very common in the lives as hosts. So TouchStay is all about offering you different features that make hosting simple. A TouchStay guidebook, so it's not technically an app, it's a web app. So it doesn't have to be downloaded by the guest. It just lives on their phone once they've opened it and saved it onto their device. And you don't need Wi-Fi to use it once it's saved to your phone. So it acts like this beautiful app, but guests don't have to download anything, can go through that fuss. And it really is this digital concierge that guests have in their pocket before they even step to the door of your property. They're already learning about your property, learning about your business, and building up anticipation for their stay. So from your side, it's super easy to get set up. We have a bunch of different AI tools to help with content creation and get your guides set up very quickly. So doing away with the headache of, oh, I can't get this set up, it's too much information. You can get your first guidebook created in 60 seconds with our AI guidebook creator. You can include lots of different types of content, so photos, videos, graphics, whatever you like, and so you can really customize your guidebooks to show off your branding and your business. It's all about letting guests know who you are, not who we are. We have different translation options. So if you've got guests coming from all over the world, that automatic translation is built in. So it's nice and easy. There's a really good integration with Google Places. So you can build a very beautifully customizable map. So you can show your guests and they can have this really interactive map of all the different places you're recommending. All the directions are built in, and it's just a really flawless way of getting all your favorite recommendations, all the hidden gems, all that good stuff in front of your guests and really adding value to their experience. There are guest experience add-ons that help you increase revenue. We'll talk a bit more about those shortly. There's an AI chatbot, so guests can self-serve if they're looking for information. And there's no hallucinations. There's no AI chatbots going off-piste and giving your guests crazy information. It's all based on what's already in your guide. So it's a really fantastic way for guests to self-serve their own information. You can send emails and text messages to guests and automate all of that communication flow. You can also do that via Uplisting. Now we have the integration, and more on that shortly. And finally, there's a really fantastic data dashboard where you can actually see which guests are clicking on your guide and opening it, where they're looking, what's providing the most value for them, and really understand how your guidebook is working for you. And that's all of your guidebooks, whether you have 1 or 500. So that's a brief introduction to TouchStay. So back to hosting and what might currently be causing you a bit of a headache. So one of the things we talk about a lot across the industry is scale. How do you scale? How do you get bigger? How do you grow? But how do you also keep the wheels on as you continue to grow? Because managing 1 or 2 properties is not the same as managing 5, 10, 500. It's a completely different animal. So as you grow, communication chaos grows as well. So it's hard to really keep your communication with guests really tight, really programmatic and structured, and it's hard to be consistent. In our recent report, the host survey from end of last year, we found that 43% of hosts spend around 6 or more hours a week on their guest management. So that's speaking to guests, managing their questions. That's an awful lot of time that you could otherwise be spending on focusing on building your revenue, attracting new guests. It's just a real time sink. So as your portfolio grows, it just becomes harder and harder to manage your communication in an effective way. And that's bad for your team, the people running your business, and it's also bad for your guests. So it's not the cycle we want, not a virtuous cycle, but a vicious cycle. That's challenge number 1 as you scale. Challenge number 2 is that when you do begin to scale, the quality of your service can take a dive. So when we're talking about communication, and we talk about this a lot at TouchStay, and so this is how you speak to your guests, how you share information with them. That's really what guests remember. They're going to remember the property that they're staying in. And, obviously, number 1, they have to have a nice, comfortable, happy time there. But guests really remember how you make them feel. They're on holiday, they're probably with their friends or their family. It might be the one big holiday they get every year, their chance to get away and switch off. They want to feel taken care of. And how you help take care of your guests is you manage their expectations by how you communicate with them. So this is really what guests will remember when it comes to them leaving you a review. And those reviews, as you all will know, are very important. And so when you have communication as you're growing your business, if you don't have any process, this leads to inconsistency. So whilst you may be offering a 5-star service to your guests for over here, there are going to be some guests that aren't feeling love, don't get that feeling of being taken care of because you're inconsistently managing how you're having that communication with them. And inconsistency is just a killer when it comes to knowing what you've got going on internally within the business and how all your teams are working together, and also how it feels for the guest on the other side. And of course, a lot of time can get lost on manual tracking, checking on everything, and it just becomes a big old mess. So And we know from our survey that we did in the past as well, when we surveyed guests on what they want from their holidays and how communication is important to them. 69% said communication and how they're communicated with by their hosts really influences how likely they are to leave a positive review. So this is a virtuous cycle that no, this is the negative one that we want to get out of. So if you have lower ratings, you'll have less visibility on the OTA platforms. That leads to fewer bookings, which means you'll need to drop your rates in order to get those bookings. So that's a negative cycle, a vicious cycle that we don't want to be getting into. And that's definitely one that we want to turn around. And then the next challenge that a lot of hosts are reporting is that when you are growing, you're continuing to grow the business, you're getting more bookings, but you're not increasing that revenue per guest. And revenue, of course, is why we're all here and why we're hoping to be more efficient and save time, is because margins and revenue are what keep a business moving. So I'm sure you all know we're at the beginning of 2026, but reflecting back on last year, ADRs, so those average daily rates that you can charge for your properties, they're pacing slightly up on 2025, but costs are increasing across the board. So even if you're charging the same amount that you were last year, it could feel that your margins are being reduced and that your revenue is actually overall lower because your costs have increased, and so things just aren't balancing out. So you really need to find a way to up those ADRs more in order to feel that you were in the same place as you were last year. The next thing is that guest acquisition is getting more and more expensive. A really key finding that we found in our survey is that it's 5 to 7 times more expensive to acquire a new guest than a repeat guest. So if you're not getting up, not building up that ability to get guests to come back or to book with you directly or to book with you again and again, come back year after year, it's really expensive and time consuming to acquire those new guests. It's a lot of marketing fees. It's a lot more effort to get that conversion of the guest over the line. And you're just never building up that really nice, good repeat guest revenue. And of course, OTA fees are increasing. Last year, Airbnb, not across the board, but in a lot of different scenarios, increased their fees under the guise of making it simpler for the guest, but really they were making things maybe a little bit easier for themselves. But in any case, those fees are increasing and it's becoming, as a host, you're probably feeling that you're being squeezed in more and more ways and that your margins are getting tighter and tighter. Because when you grow, you really have to take care of all of these little things because they really add up to your margin points. And all of this can lead to you feeling like you have a huge lack of visibility and lack of control. And no one likes to feel this way. No matter what type of business you're running, you don't want to feel like you can't see anything and you don't want to feel like you're out of control because this just leads to more of a cycle of chaos. We want things to be consistent, repeatable, and automated. Automation is the name of the game. So when everything feels like a mess, get everything connected together and automate. And this is really why TouchStay have integrated with Uplisting, because Uplisting is a fantastic tool for managing all of your bookings, all of your listings, having everything in one place. And then when you connect that to TouchStay, all of your guest communication and how you offer that really fantastic guest experience is all linked together. You're able to send the links to your guidebooks automatically into Uplisting, and through using the inbox in Uplisting, you'll be able to get those guidebook links sent out to every guest. There's no manual copying and pasting. All of your inventory that's in Uplisting is automatically matched over to your guides in TouchStay, so you get this nice two-way communication. It's super easy to get set up. And so once you've got this lovely piece of automation in place, you can really unlock a world of new guest automation as you continue to grow. So a lot of that headache and that mess and that inability to be consistent that I talked about before, once you've got everything connected, you can do away with a lot of that because there's so many wonderful automation tools that we'll run through shortly that Uplisting can offer to make life a lot easier. And here's a video. Just to check, can everyone hear that?
No, I do not.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back. It's very loud. It's very loud for me. Can you guys not hear that?
I think you need to change the audio quickly to the...
Okay.
Yeah, that's because in the headphones.
1 second. That's fine. Let me just switch that and I will... Oh, I think it's this one.
Let me try. You can hear me, yes?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, let me see if this works. There's always an issue with a video.
It's always the video.
Yeah. Okay, let me go back and we'll see if we can.
If you're a property manager,
Yes, that works.
communication can feel like a full-time job. Well, today we're going to change that. We're going to build an awesome workflow connecting Uplisting and TouchStay, turning all that manual work into a slick, automated system that pretty much runs itself. Does this sound familiar? You get a new booking notification, and boom, the to-do list starts running in your head. You got to find the right guide, type in the guest's name, their dates, and then you have to remember to actually send it. It's so repetitive, it takes up a ton of time, and honestly, it's the perfect job for a robot. So this is what we're talking about right here. This is the big transformation. We are moving away from that grind of typing everything in by hand and sending out generic guides, and we're moving into a world where every single guest gets a personalized experience automatically. It's all about getting your time back so you can focus on what really matters. Okay, here's our game plan, step by step. First, we'll connect the accounts and build that foundational link. Then, we're going to unlock some really cool personalization using guest data. After that, it's all about putting your messages on autopilot. And finally, I'll share some pro tips to make sure your new system is running perfectly. All right, first things first, we have to build that bridge between Uplisting and TouchStay. This initial connection is the bedrock for everything else we're going to do. It's what lets all that important booking info flow from one tool to the other without you lifting a finger. So step one is literally just a copy and paste. Seriously. In Uplisting, you'll grab your API key. You can think of it like a secure password that lets these two apps talk to each other. Then you just pop over to TouchStay, find the Uplisting integration section, and paste that key right in. And that's it. They're connected. Next up, if you already have your guidebooks built out in TouchStay, this step is for you. You'll go to the Match tab, and all you're doing is telling the system which property in Uplisting goes with which guide in TouchStay. It's kind of like a digital matchmaking service for your listings. Now, what if you're adding new properties or you're just getting started with TouchStay? The Import tab is going to be your best friend. It is a huge time saver. You just check the box for the listings you want to bring over, click Import, and bam, TouchStay automatically creates brand new guidebooks for you, and it even pre-fills them with the listing name, address, and cover photo from Uplisting. Okay, so the bridge is built. Now it's time for the really cool part, personalization. This is where the magic happens. This is how we stop sending out boring, generic info and start creating a unique, tailored experience for every guest, completely automatically. So what even is data mapping? It's actually really simple. It's just a way to tell TouchStay, hey, go grab this specific detail, like the guest's name or their arrival date, from the booking and Uplisting and drop it right here in my digital guidebook. No more typing for you. And the good news is the most important stuff is already mapped for you right out of the box. Things like guest names, arrival and departure dates, and contact info are all ready to go. Now, just a quick heads up, channels like Airbnb can sometimes hide guest emails and phone numbers, so just know that specific data won't always pull through. But you can take this personalization to a whole other level. You can manually map extra fields like a unique lot code for each guest. Just imagine your guest opening their guide and seeing their specific code right there. No more hunting through old emails. That's the kind of smooth, custom experience that gets you those 5-star reviews. Okay, but what happens if a piece of information is missing? Like, what if the guest didn't enter the number of people in their party? Well, that's where something called a substitute value comes in. Think of it as a clever little safety net you create to avoid having awkward blank spots in your guide. So, for instance, instead of just leaving a blank space where the guest count should be, your guide can intelligently pop in a helpful message like this. It keeps everything looking professional and ensures there are never any of those weird empty fields. It's a great little fallback. All right, we've connected our accounts, we've set up all this awesome personalization. Now it's time for the big payoff. This is where we put our guest messaging on complete autopilot. The next step is absolutely critical. You have to activate the reservation sync. So you'll go to the sync tab and you'll basically tell TouchStay which of your guides you want to start pulling booking info for. This is the switch that turns the whole automatic system on. You've got two choices here. All reservations is perfect if you're new to this whole setup. It'll just pull in every single future booking you have. But if you're already a TouchStay user, you probably want to choose new reservations only. That's the smart move to avoid sending duplicate guide links to guests who might already have one. All right, listen up. If you remember one thing from this entire explainer, make it this. This little snippet of text, the TS guide underscore link tag, this is the golden key to the whole operation. This is what lets Uplisting send a unique, personalized guide link to every single guest automatically. It's everything. And using it could not be easier. Inside Uplisting's automated messages, you just write out your welcome message like you normally would, but then instead of pasting a generic link, you just click the special TS guide link button. It pops in that magic tag for you, and all you have to do is schedule when you want it to send. We are so close. The system is basically all set up. But before we finish, let's just go over a few pro tips and final checks to make sure your new automated workflow is absolutely 100% flawless. Okay, this is a super important tip about timing. When a new booking comes through, Uplisting and TouchStay need just a little bit of time to talk to each other and generate that unique guide link. So if your welcome message sends out instantly, the link might not be ready yet, which means your guest gets a broken link. Not a good look. So how long should you wait? It's simple, just 1 hour. That's the official recommendation. If you schedule your welcome message to go out 1 hour after the booking is confirmed, you give the systems more than enough time to sync up. That way, the link is always there and ready to go for your guest. All right, a quick one here for all you existing TouchStay Power users out there. What if you're already using their built-in message hub to send your links? No problem. You'll want to switch that over to Uplisting so everything is in one place. And it is a really, really simple transition. Here's the two-step game plan. First, just go into TouchStay's message hub and archive your old templates. That'll stop them from sending out to any new guests. Then just set up your new, much better message flow inside Uplisting using that magic TS underscore guide underscore link tag we talked about. Easy as that. And that's it. You've just built yourself a powerful time-saving automation machine. So the only real question left is a pretty good one. Now that your guest communication is on autopilot, what are you going to do with all that time you've just saved? I really hope this was helpful. Thanks so much for watching.
Very nice. Couldn't have said it better myself. And I've connected many TouchStay guides to various different APIs in the past, and it really is super fast and super simple. So all of the directions that the video just took you through, it really is that simple. You can use this video and follow it in real time. It's super simple, and you don't have to be a techie person or, there's no coding. There's nothing tricky. It's just that API key really, and then clicking a few buttons and you really are there. And you can go through the process as quickly or as slowly as you wish. So even if you're a non-technical person like me, you're in good hands. So once you're all connected, the world of guest management really becomes your oyster. And this is where you really unlock a lot of the really fantastic features within TouchStay that really make the difference between getting those 3 or 4 star reviews and those 5-star reviews. And as I said before, your TouchStay guide can really become this kind of guest concierge. So something the guest always has in their phone, in their pocket, ready to answer the questions that they have. So we now have our AI chatbot. That chatbot is programmed. Guests will ask. So if guest says, where's a good place to go get dinner? It will make links to all of the places you've already saved on your map that you are personally recommending, not generic, random recommendations from Google, but what you have specifically added into your guide. So you're giving that personalized, special experience to the guest. Guests can ask for the Wi-Fi code, what time checkout is, all the general questions that you get on repeat all the time. That chatbot can self-serve those answers to your guest. So the guest gets their answers right away. It's not additional questions that your team has to pick up the phone or email to answer, but the guest is still getting accurate information. That's key. Another thing that we have a number of third parties that we have integrations with in the TouchStay guidebooks, our third-party guest experience integrations. And the one I wanted to highlight here is Viator. With Viator, you just drop a little widget into your guide. Again, no coding. It's just a couple of buttons you click. And guests can then, through the guidebook, go through to Viator. And if they book a experience, one of the guided experience that Viator offers, you get commission. So this is a way for you to earn commission by literally doing nothing except put a few clicks in your guide. You're offering more to your guest. They're feeling like there's even more for them to add to their holiday and add to their experience, and you're getting a commission. So this is a really nice passive income for your business and can really help with those margin points that we talked about before. And then the last one, and again around commission and upsells and experiences. If you want to offer your own experiences to guests, like you'll offer food delivery, or you've got a chef that will come in, or the example here we have the charcuterie board that you can offer, or whatever guests want that you're willing to offer them throughout their stay. These different experiences or add-ons, as we call them, you can drop those into your guide, and you can also take payment directly through the guide as well. So you're not sending guests off to another website. You're not requiring them to take any more steps. You put this into your guide in just a couple of clicks, add in the information you want, and then the guest can make their payment through your payment gateway of choice. I think it's like 30 odd different payment gateways, like Stripe and all of those. So it's just super easy to set up. It's more and more that you can offer to your guests, and it's additional income and revenue for your business. So I'll hand over now to our lovely friends at Uplisting to give you a bit more about what specifically makes Uplisting your tool of choice. So I will hand over, and the screen is over to you, Sion.
Thank you very much. That was amazing and very insightful. And definitely, I will be using TouchStay for my short-term rentals moving forward for sure.
That's what we like to hear.
So I'm going to share my wee screen here. For those of you that are used to uplisting, I'm just going to cover some of the most important aspects of uplisting, our new features that are coming as well. So stay to the end. I'll show you some of our new features that our team have been working very, very hard on and have been listening to our customer feedback and ensuring that we're aligned all moving forward. Just making sure, can everyone see my screen? So amazing. So I'm Sean. Very, very nice to meet you all. I'm now the technical product specialist at Uplisting. So anything technical and on the product, I am your go-to person. What I'm going to cover, as I say, is on the next slide here. Let me just show you our agenda. Our mission, automated messages, is our automate settings. So the build your systems and automated everywhere. That is our automated messages and our pre-arrival security checks, which can align very well together to ensure that your messages are only sending when need be. I'm going to cover a case study, which is my own property or properties. So you can see a real life uplisting account and how it works. And any questions around that, by all means, I'm more than happy to answer it. And finally, I'll just have some what's coming to Uplisting, some of our new features. As I say, our team are working very, very hard on them. And it's only the beginning of a very fruitful year for our Uplisting members. So what is Uplisting? For those of you that don't know what Uplisting is a property management software or a channel manager. Really, it can have both names. We're specifically designed for short-term rental hosts and property managers, and we're built to help them with streamlining their operations. So maybe they're managing their properties on an Excel sheet, or they're just new to a short-term rental. They're not sure what software to go with. Uplisting can help them with streamlining their operations, ensure that everything is set up in one place. We can connect with all channels, so Airbnb, Vrbo, Google Vacation Rentals, Booking.com, and a direct booking site, meaning that they have no more managing each calendar individually on each channel. They can do it all through Uplisting. As mentioned, we provide the tools for the automated messaging, allowing hosts to maintain prompt and professional communication with their guests. This is something that is super, super critical, or crucial, should I say, when you are going into the short-term rental market. Guest communication is probably the number one thing that can help you grow with your business. Good communication means that your guests leave a positive review. Positive reviews leads to the next guest booking or repeat guests. But also, Uplisting offers insights and reporting features that help hosts optimize and track performance metrics, whether that be occupancy or their average daily rate. They can see all of this information in Uplisting and make really good, strong decisions for the year ahead. But ultimately, Uplisting's goal alongside our hosts is to ensure guest experiences are enhanced, you're maximizing your revenue. And Uplisting, it's an invaluable tool for those of you looking to efficiently manage your rentals with a top-notch to your guests, top-notch service to your guests. This is, as I say, our build systems once, deploy everywhere. I'm going to focus on the automated messaging and pre-arrival requirements because, as I've said, it's such a crucial part of the guest experience, but also the host experience when you begin to take short-term rental bookings. Now, with automated messages, by automating your messages within Uplisting, it allows you, the host, to focus less on the admin and more time on getting bookings. You're not having to remember to send guests a new booking message or check-in instructions, having to send or like set up a reminder, send check-in instructions at 2 p.m. whenever a guest is due to check in. There's times they can be missed, or there can be times where you're just maybe away from your device and you don't have time to send it, or you've lost power. By having all of this set up within Uplisting, it means that it's always going to send to your guests, and it's always going to be at the times that you want them to send. Tie that in alongside the pre-arrival requirements by setting up pre-arrival checks for your guests. So these are security requirements that you can set up for your guests to complete before they even arrive at your property. This allows you, the host, to be in complete control of when the guest receives messages, but also it provides you with that stress-free environment throughout each guest's stay. Both tied in seamlessly, they work together to ensure, as I've mentioned, that these messages are only sent when you need them to. And what I'll show you is I'll show you on Uplisting now, as it ties in with my case study of looking into an Uplisting account in more detail. So this is my Uplisting account. So I'm just going to open it up. And this is how your Uplisting account will look when you first join Uplisting. As you've connected your Airbnb account to Uplisting in read-only mode, so only allowing Uplisting to gain read-only access, this will create your listings on your Uplisting account. So you'll see your listings along the left-hand side, and to the right-hand side, you'll see all of your property dates, any bookings, but also if you come to the hidden rows in the top right-hand corner, you'll be able to highlight the rates for Airbnb, Booking.com, Direct. So you can see everything in a quick glance and on each property, each property's date of what is currently set in place for your property. Uplisting does allow you to connect a variety of different payment or pricing models, should I say. So you can have price slabs, you can have beyond pricing, you can have Wheelhouse connected to Uplisting. And what that means is that you can automate your pricing without you having to really jump in and make any manual changes. By having one of those pricing tools in place on Uplisting, it will update every 24 hours with the pricing that that pricing tool has set. If you are using a pricing tool, you need not worry about setting any pricing directly on Uplisting. But if you do not use a pricing tool, of course, in order to make changes and in order to keep up with market demand or to reduce rates, you're of course going to make some manual changes here. On your Uplisting calendar, you'll always change the spot rate. Spot rate is the rate. You're always going to change that take-home rate and allow Uplisting's channel markup, I'll also show you the channel markup, to incorporate a higher rate for each channel. Uplisting's channel markup allows you to set a percentage, normally to cover the channel's commissions. When you set a spot rate, that percentage for the channel commissions increases the spot rate to ensure that the channel rate is marked up. So it means really that that spot rate is your take-home rate. So when you are changing this, I'll come to today's date. I click onto the spot rate for today, creates a pop-up on the right-hand side where I can change the date range. I can change 1 day right up until 3 years in advance if I really want to. I'm going to change 1 day here. I'll just show you how super easy it is. I set my spot rate, and as soon as I've set my spot rate, we can see that it's changed for Airbnb and it's changed for Booking.com as well as my direct booking site. So no more having to go to each channel individually, ensure that your pricing is correct, remembering to go to Booking.com to update the pricing change that you've made on Airbnb. Once it's done on Uplisting, it goes across all of your channels automatically. And the same applies for your minimum length of stay. We click onto the minimum stay in the hidden rows, and it shows us under each calendar date that property and that date's minimum length of stay. Now, with those two key components on your Uplisting account, of course, you're beginning to get your bookings in. Bookings are coming in, they're flowing, but you haven't got your automated messages set up. You've got tons and tons of messages you need to respond to guests, or you've got a number of bookings and they haven't got a new booking message. That's going to add hours upon hours to your daily schedule. So this is the perfect time now to have a dive into those outbound messages. The automated messages and uplisting are located on the outbound section. Outbound, and as we click onto outbound, you'll be greeted with endless amounts of templates ready for you to start using immediately. So you're not even going to have to start brand new. You don't have to copy and paste anything from Airbnb or Booking.com. Uplisting provides you with the templates in order for you to have the opportunity to start immediately. All of these templates are pre-populated. And if I highlight one of these messages, for example, the 1 week before check-in, you have endless customizations here. So not only can you change the rule name, but you can also change the full content of the message below here. So this is the content box. And what makes these messages really, really stand out, and why you can set these for every channel and every booking and every listing, is because you've got these dynamic message tags. These message tags allows you to put in the information that's going to change per booking, per guest, or per property. So you've not only got guest's first name, you've got listing name, you've got listing address, listing locations, Wi-Fi name, Wi-Fi password. So it really does mean that you can really adapt all of your messages to all of your properties rather than having to have a separate message per property. Once you've set up your content, you've then got the flexibility to choose when you schedule your messages. So you'll always enter in a number at the start here, but then you can choose hours, minutes, days, after booking, after arrival, after departure, before arrival, before departure. So it's covering all instances from as soon as the guest books right up until they have departed the property. And then we can see our filters. You have the opportunity to choose what booking sites these messages apply to. So you've got the complete flexibility to say, this message only goes to Airbnb, or this message goes to all channels. You are in complete control. And then we've got the properties. The properties allows us to choose what properties our messages apply to. Now, when I highlight the filters, just as an example, you'll see that there's a number of filters that I haven't really mentioned here. So guest identity, rental agreements, and security deposits. So that is another part of uplisting that you can set up and have automated within your uplisting account. These would be classified as the pre-arrival requirements that I've mentioned previously. These can really allow you to collect secure information from your guest in terms of a deposit 24 hours before they check in, held for the duration of their stay, a guest identity document, so they're going to have to upload an ID document, and they can verify over 4,000 types of documents from over 100 countries. And alongside that, you'll have a rental agreement. The rental agreement really allows you to set out the terms of your rental, any house rules, but most importantly, it protects you in the event that the guest files a chargeback, as an example, from Airbnb, or if they dispute a payment to say the property wasn't as seen, or there was parts of the property that weren't included, you can really adapt that rental agreement to set out, this is exactly what you're getting, and anything else, please question. But we'll have a look at these pre-arrival requirements, and I'll nip back to the messages as I show you here. So I'm just going to nip onto my calendar. So with these pre-arrival requirements are going to be displayed on what's called the guest booking link. The guest booking link from Uplisting is a unique guest confirmation page that is automatically sent to all of your bookings, providing that you wanted to send to all of them. If you don't want to send it to all of them, you don't have to, but there will be a link automatically created for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a booking here. And as I open up the booking, we'll see on the booking, it has guest identity, security deposits, and rental agreements. So from a quick glance, you can see exactly what your guests have completed, what they haven't completed. But the guest booking link is this preview guest booking page. As I open up this page, you can see that this is unique specifically to Annie's booking. And on this page is where your guest will complete all of this information. So guest verification, refundable security deposits, and e-sign rental agreement. Let me just see if I have a booking that maybe hasn't completed some of these information. If not, let's see, here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reset the rental agreement so we can see that. So this is what the link will look like for your guests. So they'll see the refundable security deposit. So they'll put in their card details. It won't charge them immediately, and rather it'll charge them 24 hours or pre-authorized 24 hours before check-in. This is really to verify that the card is a legitimate card. So the last thing you want is 24 hours before check-in, the guest has put in a false card. This here will verify the card. And with the two-factor authentication, it'll mean that your guest will have to agree to the charge on their mobile app. So typically it charges or creates a payment of £0 or €0. And it's just to confirm that that card can be used for the deposit moving forward. And we've also got the rental agreement. So as I say, rental agreement, your guest reads through and they sign it. They submit their signature and it creates a PDF document for both you and the guest to download. So it means that you're both on the same page. You're not having to send them a document and then query, I never signed that. Or the guest is sending you a document and you're saying, that's not my rental agreement. You both have the exact same document. The guest is located on the guest booking link. Your one will be located on the guest booking link, but also when you click onto the booking on the calendar, you've got the view it here. Now with these three features, as I've mentioned, there is a level of security that you want in place for these. So it's nice, all and well, having these set up and hoping that your guests will complete the information, but it's even better when you can restrict messages from sending when your guest doesn't complete them. So if we navigate back to the outbound section and we look at the check-in instructions, and everyone's check-in instructions by default when you first join Uplisting will automatically have these filters applied. And that is security deposit has been collected or not required. So you've marked it as not required on the booking. Identity is verified and rental agreement is signed. So by having these three filters in place and by having those three features in place, it means that my guest has to complete all three before they get a specific message. For example, the check-in instruction. And this is where you can have that level of control. You know that if a guest hasn't completed this information, they're not getting the information to check into the property. They're not getting the lock code. And what does that mean? It doesn't really affect you as a host because you know that the guest hasn't completed the information. But if anything, it delays the guest's arrival at the property. They're getting a delayed check-in. So it does really mean that you are in control what guests get, what messages, and on what requirements. Definitely a win-win situation to have these set up. They're set up within the automate screen. So if we head to automate, you'll see in here guest identity, security deposits, and rental agreements. Any questions around those, by all means, I'm more than happy to answer. But we'll navigate back to my little slideshow without overloading you with too much information. And now we're on to what is coming to Uplisting. So these are new features that have been coming to Uplisting. I appreciate you waiting to the very end. I had to have something to keep you all engaged. Our new features, as I say, our team are working so hard on these. And we've listened to member feedback. And we're always open to member feedback. And I'll share a link in the chat for where you can see what we're working on and provide any feedback as you see fit. But the number one big thing, we're launching a new direct booking site. The new direct booking site allows you to, in future, choose a set of themes. So you'll be able to really revolutionize the way that your guests see your properties. You'll have more flexibility, as I say, with your themes. So you can really customize it to be on brand with your brand. And it offers a more personalized experience for your guests. All going well, it'll increase your direct booking conversions. And it's going to really help with those navigating. So when your guest gets to your website, navigating the website. I'm going to show you an example of what that will look like. This is the Uplisting new direct booking site that is coming soon. Super, super clean. Your guest comes to this page where you can update your logo, of course. They'll be able to choose where they're going. So from a quick glance, they can see all of the properties, but also they can choose where they're going, so they can filter down specific properties. As they click onto a property, they've got that scroll. So really clean scroll of coming through the photographs. So your guests can get a really good judgment of what the property looks like. They've got an overview, so they can see how many people it can cater for. They can see amenities. They can see your listing description. So it's really your sales pitch to your guests. This is the reason why you should book here. Please don't click away. They've got your house rules, so they can really see in here, smoking's not allowed. There's no parties, no events. There's no pets allowed. So you'll be able to distinguish on your direct booking site, do you accept pets? Yes or no? Are children allowed at the property? Yes or no? Potentially, if there is anything that could fall on a child, you can mention it within the description. Children allowed? Yes. And then you've got the description, or location, should I say. So location allows the guest to see exactly, well, location-wise, where the property is located in terms of what part of town, but they don't see exactly where the property is located. They know somewhere within this circle, the property is located. They'll never get the exact address until they have got to the point of booking your property and you're sending it via the check-in instructions. To book the property, super simple. Your guest sees at the very bottom, they choose their check-in and check-out dates. They reserve. And this payment page is super, super sleek and super engaging for your guests. They can see the guest information. They must put in their name. They'll see the trip details. They'll see on the right-hand side the pricing details, the refundable security deposit. So you've got a deposit in place. But it's a super clean, sleek website that allows us the opportunity to ever expand it. And with this in place, of course, it allows you, as I said previously, our hosts to really start to revolutionize the way that you think about direct bookings and the way that you market direct bookings. For more information on this, I'm more than happy to share some more information. If you drop me a message within the chat, I can send you an email, introduce you to these products and what we're really, truly working on. And then the second one is AI messaging. So AI messaging, whether we like it or not, is beginning to take over. So with the AI messaging, this really allows you to start to begin to automate as much as possible. The AI messaging, first of all, with Uplisting is going to be human in the loop. What does that mean? So basically what that means is rather than allowing Uplisting and the AI just to send a response to your guest, it will give you a sample response and you can say, yes, that works for me, or no, that does not work for me, and provide further feedback on why it didn't work or why it worked. With this, I'll show you on my test account. You'll be able to click into a booking on the calendar. So let me see, I've actually created a booking in my name. And as I click onto messages, you can see in here that the guest is asked, can I check in early? You'll have an option at the very bottom to say, yes, confirm the request, no, deny, or acknowledge. So with each of these different clicks that I click onto, I can say, yes, confirm. And this will generate a response for me. So thank you for your patience. I'm happy to confirm you can check in early for your stay at the Stylish. I'll provide you with the specific check instructions closer to your arrival date. You can regenerate and you can say why it should be different information. So maybe it is too long. I'll submit. And it will now reformat that message to a lot sleeker of a message. You can check in early. And if I say, no, this didn't work, I can say, was this draft helpful? Yes or no? I can skip. I'm going to say no, deny. and it's going to generate another response. So it's really allowing you to dive into a message. Your guest has requested early check-in. No, it's not possible. Or you can say, with this one, I'm going to say regenerate, and other, it should be, I won't know until the day of check-in. It'll be possible, because we don't know if a guest will request late checkout. I'll let you know. And if I submit this now, it'll incorporate that information that I've just added in. So you can see here, I appreciate your interest in early check-in. While I'm unable to confirm at the moment, I'll let you know on the morning of your arrival if it will be possible to accommodate your request. So it's really, as I say, it's a human in the loop originally, or to begin with, but it does allow you to get your responses really dialed down and ensure that all responses are going to your guests for the things that they need, whether that's early check-in, late checkout, maybe they want more information, Wi-Fi details, and eventually we'll have the system in place to have this as automated as possible. You'll also have a confidence score, so it'll show you how confident it is in the response. So you can really, as I say, regenerate them and disregard if it wasn't helpful at all. And just another thing, just as you may see on the calendar here of my test account, just a sneak preview. We're also working on a monthly calendar view, and that, all going well, will be released in the coming couple of weeks. Something to keep an eye on, and as I say, by all means, feel free to follow our feedbacks in here. So we'll have our feedback, we'll have our change log, so you can see what we're currently working on, what we're releasing, and our roadmap will show you what we're planned for this quarter, second quarter. So everyone's in line, and we're looking forward to seeing you all on Uplisting if you aren't already. And if you are on Uplisting, I appreciate you listening to me explain Uplisting again. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, you two. It was very wonderful, very insightful as well. If you have some questions please feel free to use the Q&A chat box below. So you just have to click in. If there are no questions in 5 minutes, we're going to give you back a little bit of a break. And also maybe yeah.
Cool. And maybe in the meantime, Patrick, I can just share my screen again quickly because we have 2 nice QR codes that folks might want to use.
Yes.
Most important, but I forgot about it. Yeah.
Most important. No, I'm kidding. Oh, here we are. So fantastic. So the report that I talked about, and a lot of the statistics and data points that I covered come from our host insight report that was republished at the start of this year. So if you scan the QR code on the left, you'll get taken to that. It's free to download, and it's just great to read with your coffee, full of information, really, really insightful. And then if you're brand new to TouchStay and you want to see how quick and easy it is to set up your first guide, you can use our guidebook generator. You just paste in a listing link from Airbnb and it populates all of that information, structured really beautifully in a TouchStay guide, and gives you a fantastic foundation to work from. So that's the QR code on the right. There you are. Enjoy. 2 little bits from us. We just had a question actually about the chatbot. So to avoid hallucinations, the chatbot is set up and trained to only look within your guide for the information. It's not going to the internet. It's not going outside your guide to look. It's not trawling blogs. It's not going onto Reddit. It's only using the information within your guide. So if the information is in your guide, that's what will be surfaced by the chatbot. We don't want hallucinations, and you really don't want to give inaccurate information to guests when they're just trying to get the Wi-Fi code. So that's what we do to ensure that it's nice and safe.
Absolutely. And also maybe like a little note into that one, you can also use this information for marketing purposes. So you can also use all the information to also actually make your booking, also like your site better on Uplisting, to actually showcase and also avoid those questions in the future. So it's a really helpful tool as well. There was also a question from Jack. Yes, we're going to send out all the videos afterwards, also the information about the integration and also booking links if you want to find out more about TouchStay or about Uplisting. Super happy to book something with you and also show you the two powerful solutions.
Lovely.
Cool. If there are no,
And just on the uplisting side, just the AI on uplisting, we use very strict prompt engineering. So we'll provide more information when we're due to release the product, the new feature, and more in-depth information.
Perfect. Super. Then, guys, I wish you a wonderful evening. Enjoy the sun and enjoy your well-deserved evening as well. And hey, happy to see you soon again. Thank you so much, guys.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.